Welcome back to the Reboot Show. I'm your host, Sally A. Illingworth, and I'm excited to be here with you today. I'm joined again by our resident technology panelists, Luke Stowe and Kelly Hutchinson from Digital Innovation Futures. This segment is powered by Big Mouth, and I'm going to hand over to Luke to do our acknowledgement of country.
Thanks, Sally. On behalf of all of us appearing live today from Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, we would like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people and the Kulin Nations as the traditional owners of the land on which we all meet today, and we respectfully recognise elders past, present and emerging.
Thanks, Luke. And thank you to everyone for tuning in for our second segment of the Diff Daily Download series, which is running alongside the Digital Innovation Futures Festival for 2021. So as always, if you're coming in live, drop a 1 below. If you're coming in on the replay, drop a 2 below. And as always, let us know where you're coming in from. It's incredible to see how these platforms bring us all together from across the globe, especially for this important festival. So to kick off, Kelly, what happened at the Diff Festival today? Run us through it.
Well, you know, I think one of the things about the Diff is that it's so many different areas and so many different topics. And so today I dipped in and out of things, which is what I really love about the way the program is run. And actually by being online now, you can. So I've got my desk set up with my iPad. I might be on something else there, but I went along to a digital resilience session with Terra Firma. And now that was really interesting because it's another way of framing digital data recovery, so disaster recovery. So when you look at it, disaster recovery is we're only going to get there and deal with it when it happens, whereas digital resilience says let's plan in advance. So your risk manager, your chief risk officers, your CISO, all of those different people. And some very interesting case studies that they shared. I think we said this yesterday, Luke, that in the corporate space, it's sometimes hard to get corporates to talk about it. But when you've got consultants who can go in and work with people, then it's really great insights and some really great research that was presented today. So that was fantastic. And also, you know, there was a social media workshop and looking at how can you get the most out of your digital marketing. Why aren't you getting the results you want? With NetStripes, again, you know, great totally different areas of technology. And we say to people, you can have a career in so many different ways, in so many different industries. So yeah, that was what it was. But there's actually a hell of a lot happening tonight, right now.
Really?
Yeah, it's just gone crazy tonight. Tonight seemed to be a very popular evening. So, you know, if after this you have time to, you can jump into the good, the bad and the great of working in startups. Right. Which is with Stone and Chalk is presenting the Pivot program, which is a fantastic thing about, well, maybe you want to jump out of your corporate life. It's driving you, it's not fulfilling your passion and you want to try something different. And startups are a great place to get exposure to so many different things. You know, you're not going to be in a box of a particular definition of a job. You've got so many opportunities. So the Pivot program, we've got some of their sessions in the 2 weeks of the festival, but we've also got them on demand, so you can catch up if there's any of the other events that you haven't seen. So that one, and the other one tonight is also actually the Diff Mally, a shout out up there to Swan Hill. But it doesn't matter, you don't have to be an entrepreneur in Swan Hill to learn about the different areas of business, you know, business guide of how as a small business can you use digital tools to improve what you do. So yeah, there's a few things on.
I love the Pivot one. That's exciting. Sorry, Luke.
No, I think it's just wonderful that we mentioned that up in the Mallee they're having a great conversation about technology. You know, I'd love to be a fly on the wall in that conversation. And, you know, again, you're mentioning just household names from, you know, technology in this part of the world and in this country. Terra Firma, you know, Stone and Chalk doing work on startups. It's fabulous to see so many groups giving commitment to this Diff and being part of it. And, you know, I had a look as well, and I really took notice of the Go Girl session that was on today about encouraging 5 to 12-year-old girls to do some things around digital innovation. That's fantastic.
That's right. And that's run by Vic ICT for Women in Victoria. They're an amazingly passionate group who have developed some really interesting programs that, you know, you can't be what you can't see. And gender diversity is so important on so many levels, but particularly in the creation of technology, because really that's where if you're not going to have everybody reflected in the design process or solving problems that matter to them, you're just going to get products and services that don't reflect half the population, right? So that's why really it's an important thing to get girls to feel that they have every chance to be able to take on a STEM career. And I like the STEAM career since I'm an arts grad with a master's in IT. So, you know, there's those types of things. It's that ability for volunteers from industry to connect with schools and this particularly Go Girl Go for IT Cyber Edition, you know, and they've really pivoted well. Yeah.
There's a lot of... Go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to jump in and say, so Kelly, for the DIF Festival, are you finding that like it's obviously accessible to people across all you know, like groups of ages, if you like that's pretty incredible when you think about it. It's not something that's just focusing on those who are mature in their careers or in their businesses across technology, etc. So are you finding that younger generations are engaging with DIF as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, it has to be inclusive, right? It's an inclusive open ethos, which is that digital innovation is there for all different parts of the way that we as individuals live and play and also work. And that there's actually that blending now, especially with this working at home stuff. And that, you know, we do have a program that really looks at supporting kids in getting some interesting experiences to connect with industry. Yep, that's where the thing that is some of the joyousness, it's not a word, but anyway, the joy that's created by partnerships that come together so the PSC Foundation with their entrepreneurs, which are, you know, amazing role models that have succeeded, you know, in their careers, are coming back to share their insights with the high school students who are working through the high school hackathon at ScienceWorks. So ScienceWorks has the CIRAC, which is the world's third computer that was built in the 40s, and it was the first computer in the world to play music. And kids don't know about that. I mean, you know, there's some amazing innovations that have happened here that were created and built here. And so by, you know, acknowledging the entrepreneurs and showing them a success, Grant Petty from Blackmagic Design, who's built out from Port Melbourne, a global company that all of the technology of cameras and editing software that used to cost significant amount of money and made it so inaccessible for people to go into film and production. He said, we've got to be a better way of making this cheaper and more accessible. And so from a kid from Shepparton to, you know, tinker around and create these things, now all the Hollywood movies are being shot through his equipment.
That's a great story. And you know, you're right. This is so important for us to encourage young people, all age people, in fact, but you know, incredibly important for young people to see that there is opportunity to be an innovator and to, you know, go and believe in yourself and create something really special in the technology field right here in Victoria. And we've got some great success stories already. And I'm sure that the DIF program and initiative is going to encourage a lot more people to get involved in technology, which I think is great.
And I think as a technologist, you'd think so.
Yes.
You know, the other thing to add on to that, Luke and Kelly, is that, you know, I even, you know, remember when I was at school, I think the other thing that DIF probably does for students is really helps them to connect with industry. Because I remember even in the last few years that I was at school, it was challenging because I was working at the time, not in technology, but working in industry. And I would be in a business studies class or an economics class, and some of the stuff that we were getting taught, I could tell respectfully that, you know, we were getting taught the textbook stuff, but it was very difficult for me to translate that and connect it to the industry experience I was getting at the time, you know, working in a local pizza shop. And so surely that's another major benefit of the DIF festivals, and enables students to come and connect with industry, take what they may be learning, you know, theoretically, whether it's in a university environment or a school environment, and go, oh, I can see that now. I can see what's happening because I'm listening to these people from industry, and I can see how that connects.
Well, that's exactly what the ACS Foundation does. So they've run this fantastic initiative called the Big Day In. And of course, us oldies would remember the Big Day Out.
Yeah.
But this one, and this is before actually when you could spend the day in, but they brought in now virtually people who've had tech careers. So the Australian Computer Society is for the tech professionals. And one thing I know about people who are passionate about technology is that they will talk to anybody about it who will want to listen. And so when you get those opportunities to bring people who want to talk and want to hear, want to listen, that's when the magic happens. So their Big Day In will be happening next week, and schools can register, but also it's open for other people. So if you've got your kids at home, you can tune in to hear about some of the careers that people have undertaken and what the type of companies, whether it's in startups or large corporates or being an IT tech within a company or being in a technology company itself, because there's all the different ways. And again, unless you can see what that is and understand what those types of jobs are, then it makes it really hard. But that thing about applying the knowledge, that's where a lot of our universities are really good in their work placement programs. And so it's really one of the things that stands out, I think, around Australian and Victorian universities. They're excellent. So whether it's RMIT or it's VU or Melbourne Uni, they all have programs, and Swinburne, where students take on a project, work in a team, because that's the reality, and then actually deliver a solution. And when they get to work directly with a small business, like you said, a pizza shop, actually, Brad Deacon tomorrow morning, Bradley is talking about growing your brand by being social. And he really is that thing about, people don't think they understand technology, but they're using social media all the time. So he worked with some kids in Shepparton and said, let's go out and you can work with your local pizza shop. and picking up what you said there, Sally. And you said, have they claimed their listing owning their Google Map location? Yeah. Have they put their phone, have they got any reviews that they're not even aware people are making comment about how great their pizza is or raising concerns? And that our reputation online as a business is really important, as we found out from ransomware. And, you can get bad reviews and it might be a hack of somebody actually deliberately trying to bring your business down. But if you don't know how to respond to that, or you don't even know it's happening, you need to be aware, and small businesses need to be aware. And there's so many different ways that can happen.
Hey, Kelly, you're on fire tonight, and there's a couple of things I just want to say. One, you just mentioned something that's really important. I think that organizations who want to reach out to universities, small, you don't have to be big, you can be small too, startups, you can reach out and say, well, look, what opportunity have I got to get someone on a cycle to come into my organization and do some work with me while they're going through their program at university? The universities love that. And
absolutely.
It's great for us.
Yeah.
It's great
and
for
actually,
us
and this is where there's a role of government to help that connection. So we've got a great program that we run called Summer Tech Live, which takes university students. It's not part of their course. It's something they do extra over summer, and they're placed with a small business. And so the business has to come up with a real problem. We do it over summer because that's when, honestly, in a small business, you might have a little bit more brain space to think about, that file server, can we move to the cloud? How do we actually do it? And how can we optimize our systems? And or what other transformation project do we need to do, that we just need a bit more expert ideas that we don't know about because we're not at uni and haven't heard about it. Or there might be more complex research based, so PhD and latest academics researching something. And so they do placements over that period. And we're looking to do that again later this year, so this summer. So that's definitely one to look out for. And then I talked before about digital careers, and that you can be a mid-career person and change career. Yep. So the Digital Jobs Program is a $64 million program that takes people who are in a career transition and are looking, maybe their industry's really been disrupted and they want to be able to do a new job. And, they use tech all the time, but there's the ability to have a course supported and then being placed in a business. So businesses, if you're looking for somebody, then in space of cybersecurity and data analytics and a whole lot of other different areas that we know there's a need, by putting these little bits of programs of support around people, and that's part of what we know is wrapping around and working for businesses to take people on placement because they know that, well, they've just done this program. I know that I'm, giving them an opportunity. I'll get to know them. They'll get to know us. We'll work out. And that's where jobs can really grow. And it's that barriers of people changing or taking a chance, both sides taking a chance. And that's the thing actually about innovation. If you're not feeling uncomfortable, you're not innovating.
Yeah. No, look, I love it. And something just to pick up on what you said, I know we're in a global economy, but nothing beats getting people locally here into the ICT community, and businesses reach out to Victorian local businesses, give them the support, give them the opportunity to work with you, because you are right. This is about lives and livelihoods of technology people and increasing that capability right here in Victoria. That's what I love about DIF. The other thing I want to ask you, Kelly, while you're on a roll, what is a virtual safe room? Is that right? Virtual safe room?
Oh, yeah. I saw you.
Room. Escape room.
Escape room. Okay. Yeah, so this is Experios. I reckon we should do it, you know. I think we just sign up. So, you know, we do different escape rooms where there was quite a lot of them happening. I think they mostly came out of Asia, about sort of like the gaming culture. And you basically are in a physical space where you're going through and having to do challenges and work as a team and solve problems. Of course, they can't do that right now because there's no physical rooms.
Yeah, right.
And so it is that thing around a teamwork, collaboration to problem solve. And that actually picks up on that thing of the mix between problem solving, which we call, see, I can't even think. We call that, hey, how you doing? Good morning. Good morning, wherever you are, because it's it's almost lunchtime. But the idea of the escape room is that way of critical thinking and problem solving, and by being able to do it in a virtual environment and making it fun. So it's a really good thing to do with colleagues. So there's been quite a big shift of having, you know, we used to go corporate training programs,
corporate outings before to physical.
So there's an industry There's an industry I saw last year totally pivot. All of their corporates that they had booked, of course, had to cancel. But those people still desperately needed to be able to connect and do things together. So when we look at the opportunities that COVID has brought to us, it's really exciting to see a number of the companies that have seen that as an opportunity. We ourselves did a team weekly trivia night, trivia afternoon on a Friday. And we'll do it again when I'm not doing this, but it's lots of.
I think that sounds really good, but I'm not sure that Sally would want me to escape a virtual escape room, so I'm not sure I want to do it with you two.
Well,
maybe another time.
Well, but look, perhaps, Luke, perhaps.
So you're probably going to ask what's happening in the DIF tomorrow.
Yes. Well, first things first, before we get there, as a part of the DIF Daily Download series, we are releasing a special ebook each day, Luke. So let's just take one step back. And if we can go back to the conversation we were having a couple of moments ago about supporting local Victorian businesses. So the ebook that we're releasing today is the Optimizing Salesforce ebook, which has been produced by a local Victorian business that specializes in digital transformations, Alchemy Solutions. So I'm going to hand over to you, Luke, quickly to run us through what can people expect from this ebook, and then we'll dive into a conversation about what to expect from the DIF tomorrow.
Yeah, got to disclose that I am involved in Alchemy Solutions, so it's a business dear to my heart, very much here in Victoria, supporting local ICT people and that community. They've developed a great ebook called Optimizing Salesforce 21. Year 21, and it's basically an overview. I love it. It comes from a business sort of technology perspective and looks at Salesforce of how you can get optimization just by doing some really simple things. You know, people pay a lot of money for these platforms, and then they don't look after the data that's in it. They don't look after the integrations. They don't look after the administration side of it, and therefore permissions and things become sort of unwieldy, and they can't get the value. They can't unlock the value out of these platforms. And it's really critical that organizations take stock of that and really look after this. This is something that you need to, keep feeding and keep making sure that it's healthy and well so your organization can get the benefit out of it. So it's a great ebook. For those interested, download it.
Beautiful. Now we can dive into what to expect from the DIF tomorrow. So what's happening with the festival tomorrow, Kelly?
Well, back in the education stream, tomorrow morning there's, they're called the Consortium of Educational Technology. They were actually originally just Education Technology Victoria, but it's basically a group of teachers and school technology people the people who are running the platform, so your kids can be at home and do the schooling. You can see that the sun is disappearing and the day is ending here in Melbourne.
No, I'm trying to get the light from my laptop.
That's okay. Yeah, so that's going to be a fabulous, and it's around the fact that, you know, like I said, professional development now is something that really people can do probably a lot more easily than they were before. And so this organisation has got a number of different companies coming in to look at the different tools and actually do trials and teachers playing to how to use this tool, you know, and that's such an important be able to actually experiential learning. And then actually I've just sent out an education newsletter because there's a few other different events that are coming up in education. Apart from the student-based, it's also supporting the teachers growing. So DLTV, Digital Learning Teachers Victoria, have also just launched a new tools. So you're teaching digital technologies. Well, how on earth do you do that? So there's resources and the latest blog post when I go back and create it will be about the education programs that we've got coming up. So that's one of the highlights for tomorrow.
Yeah, you've got to admire these teachers all being online at the moment and teaching children from afar. I know many tables are probably crowded with kids just on their iPads doing homeschooling. I think all the things that we're doing with teachers around digital economy is fantastic, and that's going to be a big part of our future moving forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's such an important part. You know, I think that's been a common thread throughout yesterday's conversation and again today's, and I'm sure again tomorrow when we're back on at 5:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time is, you know, the importance of bringing together all different stakeholder cohorts, you know, when it comes to conversations surrounding technology. And, you know, I love that you highlight, you know, that program and that initiative is supporting the teachers as well, because I can't imagine, you know, the transformation and the professional development journey they've had to go through during the COVID period. So it certainly sounds like there's some brilliant work being done there.
Absolutely.
So I think that's it for today's segment on the Reboot Show, powered by Big Mouth. Thank you very much, Luke Stowe and Kelly Hutchinson, for joining me. And thank you very much to our audience for tuning in. We will be back on again tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time for the third segment of the Diff Daily Download series. And we look forward to seeing you then. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much. See you later.
Bye.